Hey folks, you're welcome to another gospel movie review. Today we'll be taking a look at Mary's Option. It was written and produced by Oluwaseun Adejumobi. The opening tune was in line with the tone of the movie. The title font and the opening credits were nice. The original soundtrack of Mary's Option was quite cool, although the transition from track to track was sometimes choppy. It was good directing here by John Oguntuashe. It was good costuming, good makeup. I think one of the things that stands out most in this movie is the dynamic camera movements. This was classic Kunle Adepoju. It was top notch. Let me give it a try. Hey, camera on the face. I'm just going to stick with my still shot. The actors all played their roles well. When David Adeyemi first appeared as Rufus, it looked as though he was reciting his lines, but he later settled into his role and produced a mature performance as an adult last child and a brother to two elder sisters. Lara Ayola, whose performance in Akobi Lare won the Best Actress Award for Gospel Film Festival 2019, was at it again here. Ayobami Olakunle, who is now Ayobami Abraham, played the role of Mary fantastically. Kayode Owojori, who plays Chief Duro Sawyer in the ongoing series from the Mount Zion Film Productions Abattoir, was Daddy Amos here and he put in a remarkable performance. Other cast also played their roles very well. If you ask me, I'd say that my favorite character is Laura, played by Omolara Ayola. I think she's the best developed character in Mary's Option. Let's take a look at the source material. The Bible mentions Martha only on a few occasions: when she hosted Jesus in her house, during the resurrection of Lazarus, and when she served at a dinner held in honor of Jesus. That's not much to work on, yet the writer fleshes out a Laura character that has a solid backstory. What I like the most about her is that she displays consistency in her thoughts, words, and actions. She's a go-getter, she's self-motivated, a busy lady who doesn't have time for frivolities. You know, sometimes in a movie, for example, there are two characters. One is scripted as patient and thoughtful, the other scripted as rash and spontaneous. Bad characterization would see the patient one calming the other down in one scene, and then in another scene it would be vice versa. But for Laura, we see that consistency all through. If she asks you a question and you're wasting time, she'll say,
"Well, okay, just spare me all that. Now listen."
Before you get too excited, she'll stop you. You're tired of the job? No, she won't fire you, she'll do it herself. That's just who Laura is, and we see that all through the movie. Also, I saw some characters that I think you've all wanted to meet face to face. Introducing Peter, James, and John. Right? However, the subtitles had a lot of errors. Then I think the attempt to impute the alabaster box story by having Laura dream about Mary giving the perfume to Daddy Amos didn't really work. That scene had some thoughtful dialogue, but I feel that if the movie had ended in the scene where the Douglas children were reflecting on the resurrection of Rufus, it would have been perfect and would have ended on a high of profoundness. Then the soundtrack played at the closing credits that kind of sounded dull because there were no instrumentals, made it seem something like an anticlimax. Alright, so let's talk about the message. The message is powerful, and I believe we need constant reminders like this to help us examine ourselves amidst the hustle and bustle of life. The core question I took from it is, God, what would you have me do? I like the fact that this is not a movie that portrayed Mary as someone who always knew and chose what was important, or Laura as the person who always put other things before sitting at the feet of Jesus. Come to think of it, the Bible does not categorically state what Jesus and Mary were talking about, but the topic of choice for this movie was perfect and was in line with what the original story teaches. It's a message for everyone and makes us see that Jesus is the reason for our living. Acts 17:28 says that in him we live, we move, and have our being. In 5 years, Mary had gone into office work, fashion designing, and events planning. 3 professions in 5 years. It was rather worse for Laura, who had been in 3 courtships in a single year. Daddy Amos's message is the same for us all.
Whatever we do on earth that has no eternal value or everlasting impact on humanity, it's like fetching drums of water and pouring it right in the basket. Waste it is.
Initially, after watching Mary's option, I felt that I would have loved to see what God eventually told Mary to do, but I later saw that what God did for her first of all was to cause her to be. She had done different things but didn't find fulfillment in them. When she began to ask God what he would have her do, the first thing he did for her was to give her peace and rest. She also testifies to this.
That's the needful thing.
In my own self.
To come to God for rest, and I've chosen that option.
So I realized that this movie is not merely saying that we should seek the face of God as to what to do as a profession. A doctor, a teacher, a fashion designer, a lawyer, a musician. Your name is Yah. Definitely not. But it's placing first for us to be with him. Mark 3:14 says that Jesus appointed his disciples to first of all be with him, after which he would send them to preach, to do something. So I'd say this is the time for us to sit at the feet of Jesus, to be with him, to know him more, to grow in love and become more and more like him. I think the past 4 months of lockdown would have revealed where our priorities in life really lie. I pray that we become all God wills for us and also do what he's called us to do in Jesus' name. Alright, we've come to the end of the review of Mary's Option. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll leave the link to the movie in the description section. My review for Abattoir episode 3 will be out next Tuesday by God's grace, so watch out for it. Till that video, stay blessed.